Hey there everybody, what is going on? My name is Aditya and welcome to Chapter 2 Episode 3 where we'll be talking about anonymous functions in Elixir. Now firstly, what are anonymous functions? These are functions without a module. A module typically encloses of different functions and each function need to be called via a module, while the anonymous functions can be called from anywhere. So the first example that we'll be taking a look at is sum. So now in order to declare an anonymous function, I'll be saying sum, which is a variable. I'll be assigning to it the function which will be denoted with fn, and then I'll be denoting what kind of parameters it should take. I'm going to say a and b are the parameters that it should have, and then it's simply going to go ahead and say a plus b, and I'm going to end it right over here. So what this did is it created this anonymous function. Now one thing to note over here is you cannot call anonymous function like this, because these kind of functions have a special calling notation. What we can do is say sum dot, and inside the brackets then we'll be saying 1 comma 2, and there we go, there's our result 3. So now let's just say you want to have multiple different bodies inside the same function. Like let's just say I want to declare a variable named as maths, which will be a function again, and inside of this function I want a square method and a sum method. You cannot declare directly the parameters that it should take. You need to declare it in the form of tuples. So I'll be saying the first parameter will be square and it will be taking in the variable a, and in case it gets it, just go ahead and provide out a times a. And so the second one will be sum, which will be taking in two variables a comma b, and it will be going ahead and printing out a plus b, and I'll be ending this function right over here. So now if I want to call these functions, I need to simply say maths dot, and inside a bracket I'll be simply going ahead and creating a tuple, and I'll be saying square of the number 5. Let's just say for example I'll be getting 25, and then if I'm going to go ahead and say maths dot, and I'll be saying sum this time, and I'll be providing in two different values 5 comma 8. Let's just say for example I'll be getting back 13. So that's how the multiple bodies inside a single anonymous function work. And this thing is also called as pattern matching, which we saw earlier in this series. So by now you must be realizing pattern matching is a very widely used concept inside the Elixir language. So the next point that I'm going to be going ahead and showing you is the ampersand notation. Now this is an operator, but we have not yet explored the operators. So this is kind of going to be the introduction to this operator for you right now. So let's just say sum, and inside of this what I'm going to say is ampersand, and I'm going to go ahead and create a square bracket, and I'll be simply saying ampersand 1 plus ampersand 2. So what this exactly is doing, this function is going to go ahead and take two different parameters. The first parameter will be in the first, and the second parameter will be right over here denoted with ampersand 2, and these two parameters are going to be added and the result is going to be declared right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and I'm going to say sum dot 1 comma 2, and I'll be getting back the 3. Now this is kind of a shorthand. Obviously you can go for the longer forms in order to be more explicit, but whenever your function's motto is pretty straightforward, you should simply hit for this type of declaration. Now the last point that I'm going to show you is more of a pro tip rather than an anonymous function related thing. So let's just say there is this variable called as low, which equals to ampersand enum dot min slash 1. Now what exactly is happening over here might be too much for you to process, but when we'll be learning about enumerators, I'll be linking back at this episode so you'll be able to understand it completely. So what is happening over here is enum dot min slash 1 is a function. It's a enum dot min function with the arity of 1, which I had said previously will be used in the later episodes. And then there's ampersand over here, which means whatever the first parameter of the low that you will be taking in will be provided directly to the enum.min function. So let's just go ahead and press enter, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say low dot. Now enumerator is expecting a list inside of this, so I'm going to say a list where there are a couple of numbers 3, 4, -1, -5, -4, let's just say, and I'll be pressing enter, and I should get the minimum number from this list, which is -4 at this point. This type of notation will be used a lot more in the future, It is also used a lot in the libraries that you will be using regarding Elixir. So it is kind of important to understand how exactly the process is going on under the hood. So that should be it for this episode. If you have any doubts, just leave them in the comments below and I'll see you in the next one.